always knew my family saw me differently, not as their daughter, but as their personal ATM, someone who worked endless hours just so they could live comfortably. But I never imagined they'd actually steal from me. My name is Isabella Rodriguez, and I've been the responsible one my entire life. While my younger sister Carmen spent her days creating content for social media and dating guys who flew her to expensive destinations, I was grinding through 4 10-hour days in corporate finance at a major firm in San Francisco. I didn't just work hard, I built wealth systematically. And every month I sent money back to my family in Phoenix so they never had to worry about anything. So when my phone buzzed during a crucial client presentation last Tuesday, I almost ignored it completely. But then I saw it was Mom video calling. I should have let it go to voicemail because the second I answered, her face filled my screen with that overly bright smile she only used when she was about to drop devastating news on me. Isabella, Mia, buenos dias. Oh, honey, we have the most incredible news, she chirped. I leaned back in my office chair, already preparing for disaster. Mom only called me honey when she needed me to pay for something outrageous. What's going on, Mama? I asked slowly. You know, Carmen has been planning her wedding to Diego, right? You mean the one at that fancy vineyard in Napa with the imported roses and 180 guests? It's the one that costs more than most people's houses? That wedding? Her smile flickered for just a moment, long enough for me to know my worst fears were about to come true. Well, she continued with forced cheerfulness, we figured out how to handle all the expenses. Isn't that wonderful? My stomach dropped. What expenses? What did you guys do? Suddenly, Dad's face appeared beside hers, wearing that sheepish grin he always used when delivering terrible news like it was some kind of surprise party. We sold your condo, he announced proudly. Got an amazing price for it, too. More than enough for the wedding and still plenty left over for other things. My entire world went cold. You what? I whispered. You weren't even using it. Mom jumped in quickly. It's just been sitting there while you're up in San Francisco doing your business stuff. So we figured, why waste it? My name is on that deed, I said, my voice barely controlled. Well, technically, yes, Dad said, suddenly defensive. But we've been taking care of the property while you're working up north. You wouldn't even miss it. Then Carmen pushed both of them aside, grinning like she'd won the lottery, which, in a way, she had. Isabella, it's absolutely perfect. Now I can have the dream wedding I've always wanted. The Rosewood Estate Ballroom, live string quartet, champagne waterfall, and those gorgeous fireworks for our grand exit. Girl, it's going to be pure magic. With money you got from selling my home? I asked, my voice shaking. Carmen waved off my question like it was nothing. Come on, sis. You can always buy another place. Besides, you're barely ever there. This way, the money goes towards something that actually matters. Matters. That word hit me like a punch to the chest. Mom leaned back into the frame. Everything's already set in motion, sweetheart. We've paid all the deposits. The catering company, the music, Carmen's dress alterations. It's all happening in just 5 weeks. I stared at the three of them, smiling, nodding, acting like they hadn't just destroyed a piece of my life and set it on fire. And exactly how did you manage to sell property that's legally registered in my name? I asked, my voice dangerously quiet. Dad cleared his throat uncomfortably. Well, some of the documentation we handled ... internally. Just family helping family. Do you know how these things work? You forged my signature. Mom's eyes widened in fake shock. That's such an ugly word. Mia, it's not like we sold it to strangers. This was a family decision. No, I said, cold fury building inside me. You decided. Without me. You committed fraud. Oh my God, Isabella, you're being so overdramatic, Carmen groaned. You're always acting superior just because you make good money. Can't you just be happy for me for once in your life? I didn't respond, didn't even blink. Just stared at them while thinking about all those sleepless nights. budget spreadsheets, and skipped vacations to meet deadlines. All those years of wire transfers to help them out, and now this. A wedding funded by theft. My condo, my future. Mom's voice dropped lower. Isabella, say something. Aren't you happy for your sister? I smiled then. It wasn't warm or kind. It was the kind of smile you see in boardrooms and legal offices. Congratulations, Carmen, I said, my voice like ice. I'm sure it'll be absolutely unforgettable. Carmen clapped her hands together like a little kid. See? I knew you'd understand. You're the best big sister ever. I need to go, I said, my finger already moving toward the end call button. Work is calling. Of course it is, Mom sighed. Te queremos mucho. The screen went black. For a long time, I just sat there in my San Francisco apartment, staring at the reflection of someone who'd just been betrayed by the people she'd sacrificed everything to protect. They thought I would just accept it, that I'd sigh, send more money, maybe even show up in a bridesmaid dress with a smile and an expensive gift. They thought I was weak, predictable, and soft. But I wasn't any of those things anymore. I was done. I scrolled through my contacts until I found the one I hadn't used in almost 3 years. Maya Chen, my former law school classmate, now one of the most ruthless litigation attorneys in Los Angeles. She answered on the first ring. Isabella, everything okay? I need help, I said. And it's going to get messy. Maya didn't hesitate. I'm listening. I smiled for the first time that morning, and it definitely wasn't friendly. Because my family had just made the biggest mistake of their lives, and they were about to discover exactly what their responsible daughter was truly capable of. Maya's voice sharpened immediately. Tell me everything start to finish. I was already pacing around my apartment, barefoot on the hardwood floors. No hunger, no exhaustion, just pure rage and a decade's worth of financial records in my digital files. They forged my signature to sell my condo, I said flatly. Used every penny to fund Carmen's wedding. $200,000, maybe more. Every cent from the sale is already gone. Maya was quiet for a moment. Then came a low whistle. Girl, that's not just theft. That's criminal fraud, identity theft, property theft, wire fraud. Any paperwork cross state lines, that adds mail fraud to the list. I need to make sure that sale gets reversed immediately. Maya was already in attorney mode. You still have the original deed and ownership documentation backed up in my secure cloud storage along with proof of the initial property transfer. Maya paused. Transfer. I stopped pacing. Yeah, that's the really beautiful part. 2 years ago, I got smart about asset protection. I was making too much money and my parents kept asking for larger and larger loans. So I created a holding company under my name, Rodriguez Holdings LLC, to protect my investments. For months after I bought the condo, I quietly transferred ownership to the LLC. My parents had absolutely no idea. So legally, I continued, they didn't sell my condo. They sold property owned by a registered corporate entity they had zero legal authority to access. Maya let out an amazed laugh. So not only did they commit fraud, they committed fraud. Against a business entity, that's a felony with serious prison time. It gets even better, I said, opening my banking app to stare at numbers that had quietly supported my parents for years. For the past 3 years, Rodriguez Holdings has been making monthly payments to cover my parents' mortgage. $2,800 like clockwork. Plus, I've covered their car payments, utilities, and a huge chunk of Carmen's private college tuition, all completely anonymous. They thought some distant relative was doing it out of generosity. Maya's tone shifted. Let me guess. They never questioned it, just took the money and assumed they deserved it. Exactly. She exhaled sharply. Isabella, you've been subsidizing their entire lifestyle while living modestly in San Francisco and eating ramen for dinner. Pretty much. And now they've sold my home, a home they never legally owned. I want to destroy this, I said calmly. I want them to experience every consequence they thought I'd always protect them from. Maya didn't hesitate. First, we file an emergency injunction to void the sale. That puts an immediate freeze on the transaction while we build our fraud case. Second, we cut off all payments from Rodriguez Holdings. No mortgage assistance, no car notes, nothing. That triggers foreclosure proceedings. They have maybe 90 days before they lose the house, I murmured. They can't cover those payments without my help. Good, Maya said firmly. They shouldn't have stolen from the person keeping them financially afloat. I opened my laptop and started pulling up years of digital documentation payments from shell accounts, screenshots of wire transfers, document trails connected to Rodriguez Holdings. It was an overwhelming mountain of evidence. I'll send you everything. Compile it into a comprehensive report. I want to present it to them right after their wedding vendors start demanding payment. Maya grinned. Revenge wrapped in legal documentation. I absolutely love it. Right then, a new email appeared in my inbox. The sender: Patricia Morales, wedding coordinator. Subject: urgent payment issue, Gil wedding. Maya, I said, not looking away from my screen. The cracks are already starting. I just got an email from Carmen's wedding coordinator. She's having problems processing their deposits. Read it to me. I clicked it open. Dear Miss Rodriguez, I'm contacting you regarding the Gil wedding celebration. We've encountered serious issues processing multiple vendor payments, including deposits for the venue, catering, and entertainment services. Your family listed you as the primary financial contact. Please call at your earliest convenience. Sincerely, Patricia Morales. Celebrations by Patricia. They used your name as the contact, Maya asked. Apparently so. I opened a reply window. Hi, Patricia. I'm currently working out of state and unable to assist with any family-related financial matters. You should contact them directly for clarification. Best wishes for the event. Isabella Rodriguez. I hit send, then opened a new browser tab to research wedding vendor cancellation policies. I'm going to let everything collapse naturally, I said. Maya was quiet for a moment. They're going to regret underestimating you completely. The next morning brought total chaos. I woke up to 63 notifications in my muted family group chat. Patricia is panicking. The flower company says they won't proceed without full payment. Don't stress, Mia. Your father is handling it with the bank. But the musicians need to coordinate with the theme colors. Dad, this is just a temporary delay. The funds should clear any day now. I screenshotted the entire conversation and sent it to Maya with one message. It's beginning. Maya video called me minutes later, her black hair still damp from her shower, coffee mug in hand. The injunction is filed, she announced. Judge Martinez is reviewing our fraud documentation this afternoon. How quickly can those funds get frozen? If the judge approves, the bank receives the freeze order by close of business today. Every dollar from that sale becomes completely untouchable.
Perfect. Carmen's final dress fitting is this afternoon, I said, smiling. She's going to show up empty-handed. You're enjoying this way too much, Maya teased. Not really. I just appreciate watching consequences finally catch up to people. As if perfectly timed, my email chimed again. Another message from Patricia. Miss Rodriguez, we cannot reach your parents. Multiple vendors are threatening immediate cancellation due to return checks. Please advise urgently. Another email followed 3 minutes later. I've been trying to maintain professionalism, but I'm now officially panicking. We have 19 vendors demanding immediate payment, and I'm getting 0 responses from your family. My business reputation is at serious risk. She's completely falling apart, I told Maya. She's about to learn why proper due diligence matters. My phone buzzed. Dad calling. I let it ring through, then played his voicemail on speaker. Hey, Isabella. Just wanted to check in about some minor delays with the funding situation. Nothing serious at all, just a small hiccup with the condo sale. Call me back when you get a chance. Love you, Mija. Maya shook her head. He has absolutely no idea what's coming. Another email notification. This one from the venue itself, Rosewood Estate. Dear Miss Gill, we have attempted to process your deposit 4 times without success. Per our contract terms, full payment must be received within 24 hours or your reservation will be permanently canceled. The venue's pulling out, I said. Maya smirked, and Carmen probably already posted countdown timers on all her social media. The public embarrassment alone is going to devastate her. They're still calling constantly, I observed, as my screen lit up with more missed calls. Should I answer? Absolutely not, Maya said. Let them panic. Just then, my phone buzzed with a text notification from Carmen. Isabella, why aren't you answering your phone? Dad says the money got frozen somehow. You need to fix this immediately. My wedding is in 4 weeks. Don't be petty. This is bigger than your hurt feelings. I showed the screen to Maya. She's still making everything about herself. She doesn't even realize I was the only reason they stayed financially stable. She's about to get a very harsh education. Maya leaned closer to her camera. What's our next move? I opened a blank document. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I'm preparing a special delivery, I said. Itemized, detailed, comprehensive documentation of every single payment I've ever made on their behalf. They want receipts? I'll give them receipts. Right after the venue cancels, after the florist walks away, after Patricia goes completely public with their fraud. Maya's eyes sparkled with anticipation. Isabella, you're playing chess while they're playing checkers. Checkmate is coming. By Thursday morning, my inbox looked like a complete disaster zone. 12 emails from Patricia, each more desperate than the previous one. 5 from Rosewood Estate, threatening to cancel their reservation permanently. A dozen bounced payment alerts from vendors I'd never even heard of. And then there were the phone calls. Endless phone calls. Mom, Dad, Carmen, all going straight to voicemail. Maya and I sat on video call, watching the panic escalate in real time. They're completely spiraling, she said, sipping her coffee. They absolutely should be, I replied, clicking open another email. This one was from a company called Desert Bloom Florals. Miss Rodriguez, we deeply regret to inform you that due to failed payments and contract violations, we are withdrawing from the Gill wedding celebration effective immediately. Please consider this official termination notice. I turned my laptop so Maya could see the screen. The flowers are gone. Next up will be the band, she said, grinning. I'll bet you $50 they're next to bail. My phone buzzed. Another voicemail from Dad. I put it on speaker. Isabella, this is your father. I don't understand what kind of game you're playing, but the bank just froze all our accounts and mentioned a fraud investigation. Call me back right now. This isn't amusing anymore. I snorted. Now it's not amusing. They thought this was monopoly money, Maya said. And you were their personal bank. Not anymore. Then came a message from Mom. Her voice was shaky, high-pitched, filled with that same performative panic she used when credit card bills arrived. Isabella, please call us back. We don't understand what's happening with the bank. The sale was completely legal. We were just trying to help Carmen. Please contact us. I rolled my eyes. I was never your daughter, I said quietly. I was just your solution to every financial problem. Another text buzzed through from Carmen. You selfish monster. My entire wedding is falling apart because you couldn't just support your family for once in your life. Patricia is threatening to walk away and Dad might have a heart attack from all this stress. I hope you're satisfied. Maya looked up from her screen. She's still trying to guilt trip you. She thinks this is just about the wedding. She still has no idea you were paying their mortgage all this time. She's about to find out. I hit send on the comprehensive package I'd been preparing for days. A complete PDF dossier. Subject line. Since you're having trouble with your bills. Dear family, attached is a complete record of every payment I've made to support you over the years, including 3 years of mortgage assistance, credit card payments, auto loans, and tuition expenses. Please also note that Rodriguez Holdings LLC legally owns the condo you attempted to sell. Fraud has serious consequences. This is mine. Good luck with the wedding. Isabella.mom's response came within minutes, her voice barely above a whisper. Isabella, I don't understand anything. Rodriguez Holdings was you this whole time? Oh my God, what have we done to you? Then Carmen called. Her voice was less whisper, more screaming. You sick control freak? You've been manipulating us from behind the scenes, like some twisted puppet master. I hope you're proud of yourself ruining everything. My wedding is completely destroyed. She's having a complete meltdown, Maya said, eyes wide. She hasn't even checked Instagram yet, because Carmen's latest Instagram post was a photo of her in her fitted wedding gown, captioned, "Final alterations before the big day. Can't wait to marry my soulmate." The comment section was absolutely brutal. "Girl, didn't your wedding just get canceled? The wedding planner is exposing y'all on Facebook. Is it true your parents forged documents for this mess? Not her playing victim when she stole her sister's house?" Patricia, the wedding coordinator, had apparently gone completely public. And honestly, I didn't blame her. I opened her latest Instagram story. It was a formal statement. "Due to fraudulent payments and legal complications beyond my control, I have terminated all involvement with the Gill wedding. My professional reputation matters more than money. Please stop sending death threats to my business." Threats? Maya blinked. Oh wow, it's gotten that bad. Carmen's becoming a viral meme. She always wanted internet fame. Right then, an unknown number flashed on my phone. "This could be interesting," Maya said. "Answer it." I tapped the screen. "Hello, Isabella. This is Diego," the voice said. Calm, composed, but clearly shaken. "Carmen's fiancé. Well, former fiancé," he added quietly. Maya immediately muted her microphone but stayed on screen. "Diego," I said carefully, "I wasn't expecting to hear from you. Neither was I, not under these circumstances. I just needed to know if everything I've been hearing is actually true." "Define true," I said cautiously. "That your parents forged your signature, that they tried to sell property they didn't legally own, that they've been living off your financial support while calling you selfish, and that you've been covering their mortgage for years while working yourself to death." "All completely true." There was a long pause. "She told me you were jealous, that you were trying to sabotage her wedding out of spite and resentment. But this is something else entirely. She believed her own lies," I said simply. "I can't marry into this family," he said softly. "Not after witnessing this. Not after watching them destroy the one person who's been holding everything together for them." He paused. "For what it's worth, I'm genuinely sorry for all of this." I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. "Thank you for saying that." After he hung up, Maya unmuted herself. Well, damn. Carmen just lost her fiancé, her venue, her florist, her coordinator, and her entire social media reputation. "Don't forget the $200,000 wedding," I whispered. "Completely down the drain." My laptop chimed with another email. This one from Detective Williams at the Fraud Division of the Maricopa County Police Department. "Miss Rodriguez, we've received a complaint regarding forged signatures and an invalid property sale. The listed defendants are Miguel and Rosa Gill. We'd like to speak with you as soon as you return to Arizona. Please contact me directly to schedule an interview." And I leaned back in my chair. "They filed a police report against me. They're trying to get ahead of the story," Maya said. "Classic deflection strategy. But all the documentation you've posted online completely destroys their narrative. You have truth and evidence. They have a sinking ship." Turned back to my inbox. One more email from Patricia. "Isabella, I'm being sued by 17 different vendors. I'm losing my entire business over this situation. I just need to ask, can you help me? Not for them. For me. I trusted your family. I trusted Carmen. And now I'm drowning financially." I stared at the message for a long moment. Maya said, "You know what I'm going to tell you." "I know," I said. "But part of me still feels terrible. She didn't deserve any of this. She's collateral damage, but she chose to ignore obvious red flags." I didn't reply to Patricia. I just closed the laptop and looked out my window at the San Francisco skyline. The storm had finally reached land, and I was only just getting started. A week later, I boarded a flight back to Phoenix with a calm I hadn't felt in years. The chaos was still unfolding publicly now, but I was centered, focused, completely done, pretending to be their safety net. Detective Williams met me at the station the morning after I landed. He wasn't what I expected. Mid-40s, direct, but respectful. He'd already reviewed everything I'd posted online, the files, timeline, documentation, and came with printed copies of his own. "Your parents have filed a restraining order against you," he said, setting the paperwork in front of me. "They're claiming financial abuse, coercion, and harassment." I raised an eyebrow. "They forged my signature to sell my condo, then spent every penny on a wedding that never happened." He nodded slowly. "That's exactly why we're sitting here. Their complaint doesn't match any of the evidence. And what you provided, it's completely airtight. So we're preparing multiple charges against them: fraud, identity theft, filing false police reports, Possibly wire fraud, depending on how the money moved. I nodded. Good. He leaned in slightly. Are you prepared for how public this is about to become? I paused, then said, they made it public when they called the police on me. The courthouse was packed. The media had caught wind thanks to all the viral posts, TikToks, and Patricia's now infamous meltdown on Facebook Live. Carmen had gone full scorched earth on Instagram, calling me a jealous lunatic, and claiming I'd somehow hacked into her family's entire life. The internet wasn't buying any of it. Maya stood beside me as we entered the courtroom. Ready? More than ever. The bailiff called, all rise, and the Honorable Judge Maria Santos entered. Sharp silver hair, sharper eyes. This is a preliminary hearing on charges of fraud, identity theft, and falsifying legal documents against Miguel and Rosa Gil, she began. Is the complainant present? I stood. Yes, Your Honor. Isabella Rodriguez. Mr. Gil, are you representing yourself? Dad stood slowly. His face looked sunken, his suit wrinkled. Yes, Your Honor. We couldn't afford legal representation. Carmen sat behind them in all black, wearing sunglasses indoors. She didn't look in my direction once. The prosecutor stood and laid out our case clearly. The fraudulent sale, the forged signature, the comprehensive payment history proving I'd supported my family for 3 years, while they plotted behind my back. Dad tried to defend their actions. Your Honor, we thought the condo was a shared family asset. Isabella was working out of state. We were just managing things for her. Did you forge her name on legally binding real estate documents? Judge Santos asked firmly. He shifted uncomfortably. Technically, yes, but there is no technically with fraud. Mr. Gill. Mom tried the tears. Your Honor, our daughter has been manipulating us for years. She controlled all our finances in secret. We didn't even know she was helping us financially. She didn't owe you that information, the judge said firmly. Her generosity doesn't justify theft. Carmen couldn't contain herself. She ruined my entire wedding, she shouted. She's always been jealous of me because I'm prettier and more successful. Judge Santos banged her gavel hard. Miss Gill, you are not on trial here. Speak out again, and you'll be removed from this courtroom immediately. Carmen crossed her arms and sank deeper into her chair, glaring. The judge reviewed everything methodically, the documents, bank transfers, even my detailed emails explaining Rodriguez holdings. Then she looked directly at my parents and said, you betrayed the one person who was supporting you financially. You filed a false police report to cover your criminal actions. You committed fraud against your own child. The ruling was swift and decisive. Dad, 18 months in minimum security prison. Mom, 12 months with 4 years probation. Carmen, not charged criminally, but publicly reprimanded for obstructing the investigation. They were also ordered to pay full restitution, though everyone in that courtroom knew the money didn't exist. Outside the courthouse, the press was waiting. I gave a brief, measured statement. This wasn't about revenge or family drama. It was about boundaries. About what happens when your own family takes, and finally crosses a line they can never walk back from. Maya drove us back to my old condo, which was legally mine again. The doorman, Mr. Patterson, greeted me like an old friend. Good to see justice finally showed up around here. I smiled, but it felt hollow. Inside, everything was exactly as I'd left it. Same furniture, same books, same framed photo of me and Carmen as kids, the one I no longer had the heart to look at. Feels smaller, I said out loud. Maya raised an eyebrow. You outgrew it? No, I said quietly. They ruined it for me. A notification pinged on my phone. It was from Diego, Carmen's ex-fiancé. She's telling everyone you bribed the judge and fabricated all the evidence. Started a GoFundMe for justice. It has $37 in donations. I showed Maya the screen. She laughed out loud. She's still spinning her victim narrative. Let her. She's completely irrelevant now. Maya studied my face carefully. So what happens next? I turned toward the window, stared out at the Phoenix skyline, and said, I'm selling this place. It doesn't feel like home anymore. I'm done playing the savior role. It's time to start completely over. 3 days after the hearing, I turned my phone back on. 142 missed calls. 97 voicemails. Text messages from everyone. Cousins, aunts I hadn't heard from in years, even church people who used to smile to my face while whispering behind my back. Funny how quickly people remember your number when the truth goes viral. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I sat with Maya at a downtown cafe, finally allowing myself to breathe deeply. You know, I said, stirring my coffee, for the first time in years, nobody's asking me for money. She grinned. Enjoy the peace. You absolutely earned it. I nodded, but there was still heaviness inside me. Not regret exactly, just grief. The kind of grief that doesn't come from death, but from realizing your family was never what you thought it was. I was always the one holding everything together, I said. And the moment I stopped, it all crumbled completely. Namaya leaned forward. It crumbled because you were the foundation, not the doormat. I looked out the window. Across the street was a bridal boutique. A bride stood in the window, beaming, holding her dress like it was spun from pure gold. I wondered if Carmen was still posting angry rants, still blaming me, still pretending none of this was her fault. She probably was, but she didn't matter to me anymore. NTHAT night. I returned to my condo one final time. Mr. Patterson had left a small package for me. No return address. Inside was a simple card. I'm sorry. I didn't know how deep it all went. Patricia. There was also a tiny bouquet of wilted roses. I set them on the kitchen counter and stared at them for a long time. Then I threw them in the garbage. The next morning, I met with my real estate agent. List it, I said firmly. I want it sold immediately. She blinked in surprise. You sure? This place is worth a fortune now. I'm absolutely sure. I want a completely clean slate. That same afternoon, I did what I should have done years ago. I deleted my parents' phone numbers, then Carmen's, then every single contact who had ever called me only when they wanted something. The phone felt lighter in my hand, almost new. I started researching properties in Portland. Some were green, some were peaceful, some were far from the desert and all its painful memories. Later that evening, Detective Williams called again. We've had 5 more cases come forward, he said, adult children being financially exploited by their parents. Your case gave them the courage to speak up and take action. I swallowed hard. I didn't mean to start some kind of movement. Sometimes movements start accidentally, just like justice does. When the call ended, I stood by my window and watched the sun disappear behind the mountains. I thought about who I used to be. The daughter who always said yes, always gave more, always believed love was supposed to mean endless sacrifice. That woman was gone now. In her place stood someone new, not colder, just clearer, not cruel, just firm, not alone, just finally free. As Maya and I loaded my final suitcase into the taxi the next day, she turned to me and said, "Any last words before we close this chapter forever?" I glanced back at the building, the place where I thought adulthood would begin, the place where I thought my family would be proud of me, the place that taught me that sometimes the people you love most are the ones who will cut you deepest. And then I smiled genuinely for the first time in months. No last words. Just a new beginning. As we pulled away, I didn't look back. Some bridges aren't meant to be crossed again. Some are meant to burn completely. And I was finally warm. If this story touched you, if you've ever been the responsible one carrying the weight of your entire family on your shoulders, drop a comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. It helps us know when to upload content you'll love. Thanks for watching, and hit that notification bell so you never miss these real-life stories.